Have you ever heard across the Mennonites? They're one of the most secluded and unique communities in the world, living far removed from modern society. Did you know that in their culture, if a relationship ends, women are expected to return all the gifts they received during courtship? And when it comes to weddings, the bride not only covers the entire cost but also provides a dowry to the groom. Their traditions extend even further. For example, when someone passes away, the deceased is surrounded by ice before burial. And on the wedding day, Mennonite women wear black instead of white. Join me as we explore the rich traditions, challenges, and intriguing customs of Mennonite life, a community full of stories, contradictions, and experiences that will leave you fascinated. Mennonite life follows a unique rhythm, deeply rooted in faith and simplicity. From Monday through Saturday, work takes center stage, with everyone rising early to tend to their duties, whether it's farming, carpentry, or household chores. But come Sunday, a different atmosphere fills the air. It's not just a day of rest, it's a day for community, religious services, and family gatherings. This sacred time is key to maintaining strong bonds and celebrating the values that bind the Mennonites together. Their simplicity extends to their clothing as well. When attending church, Mennonite women are known for wearing long, modest dresses, often plain in design. However, on special occasions, you might see them in floral prints, though always with a strong sense of modesty. Married women typically wear black headscarves, while single women don white ones or, at times, none at all. Men, on the other hand, keep things practical and comfortable, often wearing simple shirts and overalls. Their clothing reflects their focus on functionality and humility, rather than fashion trends. But what drives this minimalist lifestyle? What keeps them so committed to this way of living, even in a world that's rapidly changing around them? These questions lead us deeper into the heart of Mennonite culture, where tradition, faith, and community come together in fascinating ways. Stay with us as we uncover more about this extraordinary, secluded community. Baptism holds a deep significance in Mennonite culture. It marks a person's official entry into their community and signifies a lifelong commitment to their faith. However, there's much more to Mennonite life, especially when it comes to relationships, which differ greatly from what most of us might be familiar with. For instance, did you know that Mennonite girls can begin courting as young as 15 or 16 years old? Courting in this community is far from the casual dating many of us are accustomed to. Young men show their affection by giving thoughtful gifts to their potential partners. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. These relationships are always carefully supervised. Courtship meetings only happen on very specific days, and at set times, Thursdays and Sundays, between 8 and 10 in the evening, and these meetings always take place at the girl's home, ensuring that everything follows tradition. If the relationship progresses and both feel ready, they may choose to get engaged and eventually marry. But what happens if the relationship doesn't work out? In this case, the woman is expected to return all the gifts she received during the courtship. This custom may seem unusual to outsiders, but for the Mennonites, it's an important part of their cultural heritage and respect for tradition. What do you think about this unique approach to relationships? Could such a structured and supervised process foster deeper connections? Let us know in the comments below. Marriage in the Mennonite community is not just a personal commitment, it's a profound cultural bond that ties individuals to a lifelong journey. Once a relationship is deemed successful, the next step is the wedding, a simple yet deeply significant event. What makes it so unique? The man takes the lead by formalizing the proposal, but when it comes to the costs, it's the father of the bride who bears the financial responsibility. In return, the groom receives gifts from the bride's family, which often include livestock, household essentials, and sometimes financial assistance to help the couple start their new life together. This tradition not only strengthens the bond between families but also ensures the newlyweds have the resources to build a stable future. The wedding ceremony itself is modest, but every detail carries meaning. The bride dons a black dress, a symbol of elegance and formality in the Mennonite tradition, while the groom is also dressed in black. Preparations begin a full week before the event, with gatherings of family and friends, and the official ceremony is held on Sunday. Once married, the roles within the family are distinctly defined. The man is seen as the head of the household, tasked with providing for the family, while the woman dedicates her time to caring for the home and raising the children. This structure is supported by the wider community, where families receive help and guidance, reinforcing their values and ensuring that traditions are passed down through generations. Have you ever wondered how such a close-knit community sustains itself in today's fast-paced world? In the Mennonite way of life, it's the strong family bonds and unwavering traditions that hold everything together. Before we continue, I have a special 10-second request for all of you listening. If you can help me in any way, just press the notification bell and hit that subscribe button. It means the world. It really supports this channel. And if you do that for me, I promise my team and I will do everything we can to make this show even better for you. Deal? Many people wonder, are the Amish and Mennonites the same thing? It's understandable to get confused, right? After all, both groups trace their origins back to the Anabaptist movement, which began in the 16th century. They share core values such as simplicity, strong community bonds, and a deep commitment to pacifism. However, there are key differences between them. The Amish are known for living a more conservative and traditional lifestyle. They choose to avoid modern conveniences like electricity and automobiles, while their clothing is simple, plain, and highly uniform. The Amish way of life is centered around family, community, and agricultural work. They aim to preserve their customs and traditions, living largely removed from the outside world. On the other hand, Mennonites take a more open approach to change and engage more with broader society. While they also value simplicity, many Mennonites use modern technologies and dress in more contemporary clothing. Essentially, you could think of the Amish and Mennonites as two branches from the same family tree. They share the same roots and many values, but each group has developed its own way of interpreting faith and navigating the world. If you're curious to uncover more surprising details about the Amish, be sure to check out our previous video, where we dive into even more fascinating aspects of their unique way of life. Don't miss it. Did you know that, unlike the Amish, Mennonites place a strong emphasis on education? While many assume that isolation leads to a rejection of modern learning, for Mennonites, education is seen as vital. In fact, they believe that knowledge and faith go hand in hand, creating a balanced approach to life. Many Mennonites pursue higher education, attending universities and holding various professional roles across many fields. In the modern Mennonite church, there are schools from elementary to high school, as well as colleges, seminaries, and universities reflecting their dedication to education. Public schools are also an option for some Mennonites, but children from the more traditional Old Order typically attend their own community schools, preserving their values and customs. One of the clearest examples of their commitment to education is Eastern Mennonite University, founded in the year 1918. This university was established to offer an educational experience where faith and knowledge are deeply integrated. Today, Eastern Mennonite University is known as a top liberal arts college, offering graduate programs, a seminary, and even competitive sports teams that participate in national championships. How many people would have thought that such a unique blend of faith, education, and even sports could thrive in such a community? So while the Mennonites may seem isolated from modern society, their approach to learning and professional development is anything but. What do you think? Could this be one of the reasons they've been able to preserve their culture while still engaging with the world in unexpected ways? Let us know in the comments below. When you think of a community cut off from the modern world, do you picture a group living without any connection to today's technology? While it's commonly believed that all Mennonites reject modern advancements, the reality is much more nuanced. Not every Mennonite group turns its back on technology altogether. In fact, some of the more traditional Mennonite communities may choose to distance themselves from certain technologies like the internet and smartphones. Their reasoning? They believe that these tools could interfere with the simple, community-centered lifestyle they hold dear. But what about the majority of Mennonites? Most Mennonite groups actually view technology as something that can be used responsibly and in moderation. It's not uncommon to see computers, cell phones, and even cars being used among them. However, these technologies are carefully managed to ensure they don't conflict with their core values and principles. For them, the key is balance. Technology, when used appropriately, can help with communication, education, and even work, all of which contribute to the community's growth and development. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. Each Mennonite group has the autonomy to decide for itself what forms of technology are acceptable. They constantly seek a balance between preserving their traditions and adapting to the demands of the modern world. So the next time you think of the Mennonites, ask yourself, what is the right balance between tradition and progress? The Black Bumper Mennonites are a fascinating subgroup within the broader Mennonite tradition. Specifically, they belong to the Weaverland Mennonite Conference, which has a unique stance on modern technology. While many Old Order Mennonite communities outright reject the use of cars, this group, emerging after a division in the year 1927, took a different approach. What caused this split, and why did they take such a specific path? Unlike their more conservative counterparts, the Black Bumper Mennonites do allow cars, but under strict conditions. To prevent these vehicles from becoming symbols of vanity or worldly desires, they implemented one striking rule: painting over the chrome parts of the cars. The shiny chrome bumpers, grills, and hubcaps are coated in black, a symbolic gesture to reduce the vehicle's reflective and flashy appearance. This practice isn't just about appearance, it's about their deeper values of humility and simplicity. Their choice to blacken the chrome reflects a commitment to nonconformity. Even when embracing certain modern conveniences like automobiles, they strive to maintain a lifestyle distinctly separate from the materialism that permeates modern society. For the Black Bumper Mennonites, using a car isn't a rejection of technology, but rather an adaptation, a way to integrate modern life while still holding firm to their principles. You can find these communities primarily in Pennsylvania's Weaverland region, along with other areas where Old Order Mennonites reside. But how long can they maintain this delicate balance between tradition and modernity? This intriguing blend of modernity and tradition keeps the Black Bumper Mennonites both mysterious and captivating to those on the outside looking in. Mennonite cuisine may seem simple and frugal, but some customs can surprise outsiders. Their meals, often plain and traditional, reflect their lifestyle of simplicity. Yet dishes like schmonfat, a rich cream gravy, stand in contrast to their otherwise modest diet, showing a unique balance between restraint and occasional indulgence. For special occasions, food becomes more than just sustenance. It can take on a spiritual role, with some Mennonites involving prayers and hymns in meal preparation. This adds a deeper meaning to what is, for many, an everyday task. Self-sufficiency is central to Mennonite life. Many meals are made from scratch using ingredients from their own gardens. Staples like homemade bread and canned goods are common, and their food reflects the regions they've settled in. Dishes like vareniki pierogies and pluma mousse cold fruit soup show influences from Eastern Europe and Latin America. In more conservative Mennonite groups, processed foods, alcohol, and caffeine are often avoided, emphasizing natural ingredients and non-alcoholic beverages. This stands in sharp contrast to modern, convenience-oriented food culture. Communal meals are a vital part of Mennonite life. Whether at church potlucks or weddings, these gatherings foster community and sharing. Frugality plays a big role in their cooking as well, with leftovers being repurposed to minimize waste, reflecting their religious values of stewardship. Mennonite clothing may appear old-fashioned, but its significance goes much deeper than many might think. For Mennonite women, the prayer covering is more than just a tradition, it's a symbol of submission to both God and their husbands. This simple item holds immense spiritual and cultural value and is a clear marker of their community identity. In fact, some Mennonites believe that the exact shape and size of the prayer covering carry spiritual meaning. In more conservative circles, even small deviations in its design can be seen as moral concerns, demonstrating the deep importance of every detail in their attire. While modesty is central to Mennonite clothing, this doesn't mean creativity is off limits. There are still subtle ways to express individuality while remaining respectful of their cultural and religious values. Layering, for example, allows for a variety of combinations, such as pairing a simple, long-sleeve top with unique outer garments. Mennonite fashion, though modest, can also include vibrant colors or fabrics like velvet and silk, adding an element of surprise to traditional attire. Accessories and small creative touches also play a role. Statement jewelry or culturally inspired designs can elevate a modest outfit without compromising its core values. Even subtle changes in proportions or strategic layering can bring a fresh, modern twist to traditional Mennonite clothing. This blend of modesty with creative expression shows that modest fashion can be more dynamic than it appears. Mennonite clothing demonstrates that one can stay true to deeply held values while incorporating a touch of personal style. By balancing tradition with small creative elements, this approach allows for a unique expression of self, proving that modesty and individuality can go hand in hand. Funerals in the Mennonite community are a reflection of their deep-rooted values and simple way of life. When someone passes away, the body is carefully laid out at home on a temporary bed made of wet sand, covered with a cloth to help preserve it. To keep the body cool, ice is placed around it. The wake is held for 3 days, but only during daylight hours. At night, the community rests. After the wake, a solemn mass is held, and the deceased is buried, dressed in white, a color representing purity and hope for eternal life. Mennonite graves are marked with the same simplicity that defines their way of life. There are no ornate crosses or grand tombstones. Instead, a large, flat stone is placed at the burial site, engraved only with the person's name and the dates of birth and death. What does this say about the Mennonite approach to life and death? Perhaps it's a reflection of their focus on humility, community, and an unwavering belief in the afterlife. Mennonite communities are known for their discipline, which is deeply rooted in their Anabaptist tradition and based on biblical teachings. But what exactly lies behind these strict practices? At the heart of Mennonite discipline is the ordinum, a set of community rules that governs everything from daily life to moral conduct. One of the most significant and perhaps surprising aspects is the practice of shunning, or midung. In this practice, when a member breaks a church rule, especially one related to moral or doctrinal beliefs, they may be excommunicated. But it doesn't end there. The person is then socially avoided by the entire community, including close family members. The origins of this practice are grounded in passages like Matthew chapter 18, verses 15 through 17, and 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verses 11 through 13. These scriptures advocate confronting unrepentant members and, if necessary, excluding them to preserve the community's moral integrity. But how does this play out in real life? Mennonite communities vary in how strictly they follow these rules. The Old Order Mennonites and the Amish tend to apply shunning with much more rigidity, while more progressive Mennonites might opt for softer forms of discipline, such as counseling. Still, the emotional and social impact on the individual being shunned can be immense. Imagine the weight of being excluded from not just family gatherings but also the community's economic life, where business relationships are often intertwined with personal ones. What often catches outsiders off guard is not just the severity of the punishment but the communal aspect of confession and forgiveness. Once an individual has repented, they are welcomed back into full fellowship. The process may be harsh, but its ultimate goal is to encourage repentance and restore harmony within the community. What do you think about this approach? Does it help maintain community purity, or does it come at too high a personal cost? If you want to learn more about the Mennonite community, please let us know in the comments below. We will update more information for you. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Your support means a lot to us. Click on the video that appears on your screen right now. I'm sure you'll love this content. Comment below about the next country you'd like to see featured on our channel. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for being with us. Leave a comment, like to show your support, and remember to hit that subscribe button for more exciting videos. See you next time.